Whew. Alright, welcome to the Spielberg Project, Part 3 now. I'm trucking right along. Welcome to my kitchen. I like the sound a little bit better in here. Very low production value. Note the lighter fluid sitting inside the window. I'm actually not sure how that got there. There's pizza boxes on the stove. You can see the corner of it right there. Oh, no, not there yet. Before we start, I need to give a slight retraction off of a couple of things that I said last week. I've recently found out that the Night Gallery episode that I did last week, Make Me Laugh, was actually filmed in 1971 rather than 1969. So Spielberg was, in fact, 23 when he did that one, not 21, like I said. Also, I will go ahead and admit I am skipping 2 TV shows that happened before this week's film in question. One is called Marcus Melby, MD, that he did an episode of, and the other one was a TV series called The Psychiatrist. And the reason that I am skipping these is not because I find them irrelevant, but because I cannot find them at all. I've tried all of my sources. Netflix failed me. Various other sites have also failed me. So those will not be part of the viewing experience. If any of you viewers out there, all 17 of you apparently, could find those and let me know where I can find them, I'd be happy to talk about those as well. So this week we're going to be talking about the kind of first episode of Columbo. We'll get into the kind of in a couple minutes. For those of you that do not know, Columbo is one of the most popular detective series ever made. It's extremely influential. It is actually the first detective TV show to follow the Monk mystery formula. You know who did it. It's not a whodunit. The episode, like Monk, always starts off with the person getting killed and you seeing the killer, and then the rest of the episode follows Columbo trying to prove that they did it. And so it's all a matter of Columbo figuring out the holes inside of the perfect crime. Columbo's investigative method was also kind of a writer's dream. He was a very bumbling character who seemed very, very absent-minded, and he would just engage in casual conversation with the killers, and they would assume that he was kind of a buffoon, and so he would trick them into letting things slip. This episode is called Murder by the Book. There's a mystery writing team of 2 men, the second of which is not very involved with the writing process. He mainly goes on TV shows and promotes the books and everything, and they're the most popular writers in America for their character called Mrs. Melville, which I guess is kind of like a Murder, She Wrote type character. They really don't go into it, but she's an older lady who solves murder mysteries. The one that actually does all the writing has decided that he wants to go solo. He wants to do stuff that isn't Mrs. Melville stories. He wants to do other stuff. Naturally, the other guy is upset. He takes him to his cabin, which is about an hour, 2 hours, something like that away. Beforehand, he trashes the guy's office to make it look like somebody broke in. Then once they get to the cabin, he has his partner call his wife to tell him that he is still in the office. He then shoots him on the phone so that everyone believes he was murdered inside of his office. It picks up with her being questioned by police investigators, and Columbo then begins his investigation and tries to put all the pieces together. He immediately goes after this writer. The writer throws him several red herrings. He tells him that his partner was investigating organized crime and that somebody in that organization probably had him killed for asking too many questions. He even plants a list of crime bosses at the office so that people think that that's what he was up to. A little more than halfway into it, he discovers that there is somebody near his cabin that saw him bring his partner down there, and she attempts to blackmail him for $15,000. As soon as someone says, "I'm a witness in the middle of a mystery program," you know they're about to die. He goes to her house and gets her slightly drunk, then clubs her in the head with a champagne bottle, and then makes it look like she drowned inside of a lake. Columbo, however, immediately suspects foul play because she's in the neighborhood of this man's cabin, where he suspects that the murder actually took place. Meanwhile, the writer believes that he is home free and is starting to get a little bit annoyed with Columbo. Earlier, the victim's wife tells Columbo that he would write down ideas for their stories all the time, and their matchboxes and stuff just littered all over the place, that he would come up with an idea and scrawl on whatever happened to be nearby. So Columbo goes to the office and he finds a piece of paper that has the exact murder plan written down on it from 5 years ago. Columbo finally puts it all together and explains very methodically how it is that he came to the conclusion. So he's arrested and justice wins.